You know that feeling, the one you get before a big tech interview? It feels like this super high-stakes test, doesn't it? But what if we could flip that script? What if we thought of it less like a test and more like a performance? A chance for you to tell your absolute best stories, really connect with your audience, and turn all that anxiety into a solid winning strategy. That's what we're going to do today.
Because, that's the real question, right? It's the one we all face. You've got the experience. I know you do. But how do you actually prove you're the right person for the job? How do you take all those things you've done, all those accomplishments, and turn them into a compelling offer they just can't refuse?
Well, the secret sauce is this. You learn to tell a story. Seriously. The candidates who get the offers, they don't just rattle off a list of skills from their resume. No way. They weave those skills into a narrative, a story that really shows their value and proves their impact.
So here's our playbook for today. First, we're going to crack the interview code. Then I'll introduce you to your new secret weapon, STAR. After that, we'll get into telling your best stories and how to handle those technical questions. And finally, we'll talk about how to turn the tables when it's your turn to ask the questions. And we'll wrap it all up in your winning playbook.
All right, first up, cracking the interview code. Because here's the thing about modern tech interviews. It's not just about what you know anymore. They're designed to see how you think, how you tackle problems, how you work with a team. You can't just list off that you know JavaScript or you're good with APIs. That's not enough. They want to see how you actually create value with those skills.
So, okay, how in the world do you demonstrate all that? Well, this is where your secret weapon comes into play. It's called the STAR method. And trust me, this simple framework is going to be a total game changer. It's how you'll turn your past experiences into these powerful, unforgettable stories of your impact.
So what is this STAR method? Well, think of it as your roadmap to giving really clear, really concise answers. It just breaks everything down into 4 simple parts: situation, task, action, and result. The whole point is to give them hard evidence of what you can do, not just, your opinion about what you can do.
Okay, let's walk through it. First is S for situation. You're just setting the scene, giving them the context they need. Then T for task. What was your specific mission? What were you supposed to do? A is for action. Now this is the heart of it, right? What steps did you personally take? And finally, the most important part, R for result. What actually happened because of your actions? What was the outcome? Seriously, never ever forget the result. It's the punchline to your whole story.
All right, theory is one thing, but let's see how this actually works. We're going to take a really common, kind of tricky interview question and build the perfect STAR answer for it, piece by piece.
Okay, here it is. Tell me about a time you had to explain a complex technical concept to a non-technical stakeholder. A classic. This question isn't really about your tech skills. It's testing your communication, your empathy, your business sense. Mess this one up and it's a huge red flag for the interviewer.
And here is the perfect STAR breakdown for that question. This is how you turn that complicated scenario into a super clear story. Look at the flow here. The situation: management was hesitant about a new API integration. The task: you had to convince them of its value, but without all the tech jargon. The action: you used a brilliant analogy. And the result? They got it. They understood the value and the project got the green light. See? That is the STAR method in action. So simple, so powerful. In this analogy part, this is the real magic of the action step. You could have talked about REST endpoints or JSON payloads, right? But instead, you use a simple, powerful image, a secure private tube that shoots information directly to the bank. Boom! Instantly, this super complex idea becomes clear and relatable. This is how you bridge that gap between the tech side and the business side of the house.
And then comes the result. This is your proof. Look, saying the project was successful is fine. It's okay. But saying you reduced manual data entry by 40%, now that is something they're going to remember. Numbers speak volumes. They translate your work into the language of business impact, and they make your value crystal clear. Okay, so you might be thinking this is all great for those tell me about a time questions. But what about the hard technical stuff? Well, here's the thing. This storytelling approach is just as crucial for technical questions. Because even when they ask what you know, what they're really asking is, what can you do with what you know? Just look at this comparison right here. The weak answer: I'm proficient in JavaScript and Zapier. Okay, so what? Now look at the strong answer. I use JavaScript and Zapier to automate workflows, which cut down manual processes by 30%. See the difference? One is just a statement.
The other is a story of impact. It doesn't just say, I know stuff. It says, I use what I know to solve problems and create real value. All right, now we get to my favorite part of any interview. This is the moment where the tables have turned. This isn't just a polite little formality at the end. Oh no, this is your final and maybe your best chance to really shine and show them that you're the solution they've been looking for. So, when the interviewer finally says, do you have any questions for us? Listen up. This is not just your chance to get some info. This is another test, a big one. The questions you ask say so much about you, what you prioritize, how prepared you are, and frankly, how you think. A bad question here can absolutely sink your chances.
So what makes a great question? Well, they're specific, they're strategic. Take a look at these examples. Asking how the role works with a specific platform like JForce, that shows you did your homework. Asking about the team's biggest challenges, that shows you're not just looking for a job, you're looking to solve problems. And asking, what does success look like in the first 6 months? That tells them you're focused on hitting the ground running and delivering results from day one.
Okay, let's wrap this all up. It's time to put together your winning playbook. These are the key takeaways you need for your very next interview.
So here it is, your playbook. First, frame every single answer as a story. Second, use the STAR method to give that story structure. Third, and this is a big one, always connect your actions to a result you can measure. Fourth, translate what you can do technically into business impact. And finally, ask those really insightful questions that show your value. You follow these steps, and you're going to be in great shape.
So, I'm going to leave you with this one final thought. Your next interview, is it going to be an interrogation you just have to get through? Or is it going to be a conversation between future colleagues? Because if you walk into that room ready to tell great stories, ready to prove your value, and ready to ask smart questions, the whole dynamic just shifts. It stops being a test and starts being a collaboration. And honestly, that choice is completely up to you.